Glad to know that you're still there. It's still Rise and Shine Daily, coming to you from the stables of Spectrum Television. And right here we have a guest in the studio.
Yeah, quite frankly, we have been joined in the studio to discuss on this conversation, and he's no other than Twekong Success Umar. Of course, he's a political affairs analyst, and he has joined us here to do justice and maybe respond to some of the issues that's bothering Nigerians.
That's right.
So good to have you in our studio.
You're welcome. Thank you.
How do you feel?
I'm better. My first time being here.
Nice.
Nice to hear that. So let's quickly jump in on these discussions. I'm pretty sure you heard our conversations before now. Coming directly, do you think the APC is ready to host the National Congress come February next year?
First of all, let me give my viewers compliment of the season.
That's right.
And,
free.
Also, the political votes.
Okay.
I'll compliment of the season.
That's right.
As for APC, talking about getting ready for the national convention, the party is very much ready about the convention coming up on February.
Okay.
A lot of people a lot of analysts have talked about. I even listened to your introduction.
Yes.
When we were talking about the issues bordering APC and the issue from the leader of the Progressive Governors Forum. But better still, I had you to mention about COVID-19. No, a lot of things we're giving consideration, before we embark on this national convention. But for the national convention coming out on February is sacrosanct.
Okay, sacrosanct.
Yeah.
That means nothing will stop it.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Now we know to a large extent that that convention relies on the report of the National Reconciliation Committee.
Yeah.
Do you think the committee has done enough to ensure that aggrieved parties are reconciled?
Initially that convention was built for this month, December this month, this year. But because of the work, the enormous work that was vested on the recently that committee, reconciliation committee, they have to give report to the National Working Committee, the caretaker committee, that they could not finish with the assignment that was given to them. And before we go into the national convention, we have to do much about reconciliation and series of factors and interest group. So it was incumbent upon them to make sure they reconcile all differences from various groups and factors. So now their work is still enormous. They could not finish up with their reconciliation. They are still working day and night. It's headed by Senator Adamu, distinguished Senator Adamu.
Yeah.
And he went to the NEC meeting and even reported to the governors from that we have a lot of work to do. The petition they had at hand, they could not even address it all. That was why the convention was shifted from December down to February. By that time, all parties, all issues might have been concluded. So that was why the committee still have enough work to do up till now.
Okay, now let's take a look at Akwa Ibom State. Let's come back up. Do you think that Akwa Ibom State's APC is ready, to join the convention? Are they ready? Are their preparation and their Congress, have they concluded all plans to join the national convention, being that other states are yet to, they're still working? So in Akwa Ibom State, can they deliver at the national convention?
At times on a different forum, I've talked about APC Akwa Ibom. I want to shock you and my viewers that
Go ahead and shock me.
we don't have issue with the APC Akwa Ibom.
Okay.
APC Akwa Ibom we have big wigs anyway with different interests, and we have addressed those interests. All of us have come on a round table. We have discussed. We disagree initially in order for us to agree. Akwa Ibom APC now is one big united family, no division. We are ready. We are ever ready for the convention. I do tell people, in a state you don't have governors. Like Akwa Ibom, APC does not have a governor as a leader. The only person that is leading the party in the state is the person who is the chairman of the state party.
Okay.
But you know, in different time, before time, we had certain people that come up and said, "I'm the leader of the party." That was an issue initially. I am the leader of the party. This one said, "I know because I'm a former governor, I'm a former senator. I'm the most qualified to be the leader." But all those things have been put behind us.
Okay.
All we are interested is how to go as a big united family in order to win this battle. You know, election is battle. A lot of people does not know.
That's right.
You are targeting a goal. You are going for a position, and your party wants to, do their best in order to win election and convince others. So the issue about Akwa Ibom being ready for the national convention, we are ever ready. You could imagine when we had our state congress, which I was a delegate. You know, we went as who in APC were there. The likes of Senator Akpabio was there. The only person that was not there because of national engagement was distinguished Senator Odoridego, who was in Abuja trying to put things across the country for the party. But the rest of the people were there. We are united. We are ready.
Okay.
So now let me quickly ask you a direct one. Who is the leader of APC in Akwa Ibom?
Thank you so much. I know this question will come.
Definitely.
That the leader of APC in Akwa Ibom State is no other person than the person who is the state chairman of the party.
Okay.
Now, currently, the state chairman of the party is Dr. Itau Dosen.
Okay.
Very soon he will hand over to the chairman-elect. But since they have not been sworn in, he is still the leader of the party for now in the state,
Okay.
Dr. Itau Dosen.
All right. Now, away from that, let's look at other issues. Now, the APC is looking at retaining power at the center. And one of the places they may not really have, where they describe as a stronghold, is the southeast. And they're trying to capture them into their scheme of things. How well is that going?
Okay, let me first of all thank you for that question. When we talk about Southeast as a stronghold for one political party, the umbrella party, the PDP, at times I can have a different view about it. You see, this president has done so much for the Southeast for the past 20 years, and in their political history, we know Southeast has not been having it so good that now, for example, is the Onitsha Bridge. How do we call it? This ongoing construction of the bridge between Anambra and Delta State.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and if you go to Southeast, when I was doing my program at the University of Nigeria and Soka, I find it difficult to drive through Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway. But now we go there, a lot of infrastructure by APC-led government. So why wouldn't Southeast embrace APC, knowing that for a long time they have been talking about the construction of the bridge that links Onitsha and Anambra State, and the government, in fact, by next year that bridge will be commissioned by APC-led government. So now we see in a state like Abia State, if you look at the picture there, the whole issue in the political history of Abia State, they're in APC. If you go to Imo State, already it's an APC state. If you go to Anambra, that we just lost the election, that loss was, we really know why. I know why we lost that election.
I was going to get to that because if you say you have been able to capture the interest of the Southeast, it should have reflected in the election. They still hold gracefully to ABGA. So how would you relate? How would you say you have done well? Because I know the APC candidate actually wanted to contest the result of the election. So how well is that going?
Well, that of Anambra was, that loss was initially that we were prepared, we were about winning the election, but it was because of the internal wrangling interests.
Okay.
Even some APC members voted for the ABGA candidate. Those in PDB equally voted for ABGA, not because they don't like APC, but it's only the first of the month that appeared. And, initially APC had issues in selecting a candidate during that election. And a lot of interest groups were not satisfied with the person we introduced. Initially, we got before the election, we saw the mass exodus from PDP, ABGA to APC. But at the same time, a house divided against himself could not stand. So most of our members supported it. They play against us, and we understand that. But for Southeast, are you talking about the Enugu State? Enugu State, though currently now is a PDP state, but go and see the population, go and see who is who in APC, you know that is a APC state. But so it's only very few people that still hold on that this zone is for this political party. If we said so, ABGA wouldn't have been in Anambra, APC wouldn't have been in Imo, and you see Ebonyi State is APC. So why do we say that that region is all for us?
Okay, now let's come back to plans and preparation to conduct a proper election next year. Now, apart from the fact that because Christmas was forthcoming, the National Convention couldn't hold this month. Now, what other modalities have been put in place to make sure that come February, the National Convention is a success? Now, what other thing would you pinpoint?
I've participated in National Convention for about more 3.
Okay.
It's a very complex event, and you need to take your time, plan it well. With this time that we are facing the issue of COVID-19, you don't have to play. We don't have to play with people's life. We have to put measures, and now that the fourth wave have just resurfaced, we need to be very careful with that. And apart from that, different interest group. Politics in Nigeria has to do with 2 things. We talk about the tribe and religion has to come to bear. So a lot of measures have to be put in place that religiously we carry people along. In affairs of ethnic whatever, we carry people. We equally had a committee for zoning, offices for the forthcoming convention. So every part and zone of this country must be carried along. You don't just go for convention. It was the turn of the South that we produced the Congress chairman as the national chairman of the party.
Okay.
So we must have to look at another zone now. Which other zone? So that this party may not look like a particular ethnic or religious party. Yes. So those things have to be taken cognizant, So preparation are still there, that negotiation on daily basis are still ongoing, so that we make sure the convention is an itch-free convention.
Okay, now let me jump right in to talk about the delegates, coming forth for February. Now, let's take a look at the opposition party, the PDP, during their national convention. They also had a young person emerge as their secretary. So now, taking a clue from that, would you say, in your own words, that the APC is, gearing towards that kind of way?
Yeah, well, I can hold a different perspective about it.
Okay.
When we talked about young people, that of PDP, when they elected a 25-year-old boy or young man as the national leader of the party, to me it was lovable. That young man will ask certain questions about the young man. Perhaps I just go through his background. He's a very rich young man from a rich background, schooled all over in abroad. This one was just like a compensation to the family. We talked about this is someone that is leading you. Have you ever worked in Nigeria? Was your education here in Nigeria? And after your education, was it going to be part of politics all over? Before I venture into politics, I've worked before. And equally, at my age, you could see that I'm qualified to hold any political office in this country, because I have experience in different fora that I've worked before. The young man that the PDP gave the position of the national chairman just to score a point that they have included young people. How many young people would that young man relate with? In my initial thing, where has he worked before? Where has he gotten his years of experience before? You see, all this ones was just to score, but we may not do it that way. We must look for someone who has schooled in Nigeria, who has worked in Nigeria, who has who knows where Nigerian youths, where we are and what the suffering is. So we may not go in line with what PDP is doing.
Okay, now saying that you may not go in line, let me jump right in. I understand there's a youth wing in the APC who are canvassing for more youth inclusiveness. What is the position of APC towards including youths, or is it still going to be restricted to the national youth leader?
No. If you could be fair to us and other Nigerians, we will know that APC has done a whole lot in inculcating the youth in their covenants. Have we not seen the likes of the EFCC chairman, very young person at that, as the chairman of the board, and other young people who have been given position or responsibility? How about the governor of Kogi State? Even though I'm not really happy with him and his style of leadership, and when people talks about a young person manning the affairs and the rest of it, say, I do tell people, is it this? Haven't we seen the age of the American president? And when we talk about
which of the American presidents?
I'm talking
Biden
about Joe Biden.
Okay.
Joe Biden. It's about 78 years.
So are you an advocate for having elderly people in
leadership
positions?
Oh yes, with so much difference. Our young people have disappointed
Why
us
so?
in different. Governor Jaya Bello is a disappointment to me. I've been in Kogi State. He's a young person, very young, having that office. But a whole lot of things, development is ongoing. You will not hear another party man being so fair like I do. If Jaya Bello, a very young person, has not to the interest of Nigerians youth perform as expected, so why do we still cover for young people? We have young people in Akwa Ibom being local government chairman, very disappointed. We have young people here in Akwa Ibom being councillor, very, very disappointed. So what are we talking about? Let's allow it. Let it be mixed. Let's not just canvas youth.
Let me ask you, would you say that the ratio of young people who are not doing well in leadership position is more than the ratio of adults who are not doing well in leadership position?
Yes,
because we've pretty much seen adults who have mandate leadership positions at different levels, both at the federal, in the boards, and all of that, and they still fail. So why so harsh on the youth?
No, the issue is not that I'm so harsh with the youth, but because of the disappointment I've made with young people. There are certain young people that man's position in this country, and I doff my cap for them. Right from my states here, there's some that performs very well. The person like Onofiok Luke, federal house member, that's a young man I look into. We're not even in the same political party, but he performed creditably well. He has not failed the youth. But giving instant to some other youth who were given positions of responsibility, they failed us woefully. So what do we say? The ratio of young people manning position and that of adults, those that perform, the older people, they want the way looking up. That perform creditably well than the young people who were given the opportunity of responsibility to man their affairs in different fora. You know, just like I exacted the example of Kogi State. Kogi State, you go there, that place is still underdeveloped. People that know that Kogi, if they had people that have good intention of development, Kogi State should be by now compared to Lagos State, because of the waterways and the rest of the resources God has given to them. But what is Jaya Bello doing? I didn't even talk about security. I don't talk about staff payment. If a young person at that age will not be able to clear pensions, gratuities, and issues like that to workers, what do we say? And you don't compare his age to the governor of Borno State. Still a young person though, not really young, but he's performing creditably well in Borno State.
Would you say Kogi State is the only state that have not cleared gratuity and pension?
Not only that. Not only that state. If I want to talk about my state, you pity me. You know, some of my friends were calling me when we had the Carol night, and they said that we had money to import international evangelists from the US, pay the bills, and we gathered thousands and millions of people who we hold all to the pressing of God in Christmas. But we don't have the heart of those that have served the state, elderly people that have served us. Issues of pensions and gratuities still an issue, but we have money importing all this, man.
Away from that.
Let me just jump right in. Still on the state affairs. Now, considering, you know, that we have the opposition party ruling in Akwa Ibom State, would you say there's a chance for, you know, the states to, you know, APC to win in the national level?
Quite frankly, APC in Akwa Ibom State, we are very ready, ever ready to take over power from the opposition in the state, because in so many areas that failed the people of Akwa Ibom, that failed in infrastructure, governance, and what have you. So we from the opposition party in the state, looking at all their lapses, we are very ready to take over governance from them. I don't want to mention many factors that felt. The main issue now is in the issue of covenant. You know, I think our party first thing we'll have to do in the state is to reduce cost of covenant. We see Akwa Ibom State has given so much to covenant, and instead of bettering the life of the people.
Okay, now let me pause you there, because a lot of people will be watching and like, what's he talking about the covenant? Can you throw more light on that? Can you break it down?
Yeah,
for
when
the
I
layman?
talk when I talk about covenant, we talk about in the issue of employment.
Okay.
Yesterday I was sharing with a friend who just retired from one of the health sector in the States, and he told me, do you know that, he make example of Ikorek when in General Hospital, that in a whole night you only find a nurse in the whole world attending to 30 people. Do we say that's covenant? If for 6 years now the government of Akwa Ibom State could not recruit health workers, nurses are scared. If in Akwa Ibom State primary school teachers, we have some primary school that have only about 2 or 3 teachers, where we have 300 pupils. What do we say about it? Even Akwa Ibom State, they do recruitment of secondary school teachers. It is only now that they went on with orientation, and up till now there's no posting. What do we say about it? If by now we have Akwa Ibom State, governance in Akwa Ibom State, and issues backlots of pensions and gratuity up till now could not be clear, compared to Borno State with little or very less revenue. In Akwa Ibom State, this is an oil-rich state, and up till now people are still dying. They could not even receive their pensions and gratuity. What we talk about covenant when we have projects that have lasted for more than 6 years without completion, and I wonder if the governor will be able to complete some of the project that is ongoing.
Well,